The massive ships appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's long-range scanners showed empty space. The next, over 500 warships filled the sky above Earth's orbit. Their dark metal hulls blocked out entire starfields, casting enormous shadows across the planet's surface. Admiral James Walker stood at the main window of Earth Defense Force headquarters, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass. He watched as the Empire's flagship, nearly twice the size of the others, positioned itself directly above New York. The ship's design screamed power and authority, all sharp angles and weapon ports. "They're hailing us, sir," reported Lieutenant Smith from his station. "The Empire wants to open communications." Walker took a deep breath. Earth had known this day would come. For over 50 years, they had prepared for first contact, building defenses that would make any alien force think twice about attacking. But they had kept everything hidden, presenting Earth as a relatively simple civilization. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall figure in an ornate uniform. "I am Lord Reed, Ambassador of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen to join our grand coalition of worlds." His voice carried the weight of someone used to instant obedience. Walker maintained a carefully neutral expression. "Ambassador, I am Admiral Walker of the Earth Defense Force. We are honored by your interest in our world." Lord Reed's lips curved into what might have been a smile. "You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not an invitation. Earth will become a protectorate of the Empire within 48 hours, or you will face complete isolation from galactic society. We are being generous. Most worlds receive only 24 hours to decide." Behind Walker, the Emergency Council had already gathered. Representatives from every major nation sat around the circular table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue light of their data screens. They had rehearsed this scenario countless times, but the reality felt different. "We will need time to discuss this with our leaders," Walker said, playing his role perfectly. "Our world has never faced such a significant decision." Lord Reed waved his hand dismissively. "Discuss all you wish, but know this: the Empire's protection is not optional. We have scanned your world. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Your weapons would be useless against even our smallest ships. Accept our rule, and your people will prosper. Resist, and you will be cut off from all interstellar trade and travel." As the transmission ended, Walker turned to the council. President Laura Adams stood up, her voice steady. "Begin the protocol. Show them nothing yet." Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in bunkers that didn't officially exist, quantum computers processed data faster than any Empire sensor could detect. The planetary shield grid remained dormant but ready. Automated defense platforms, disguised as space debris, continued their silent watch. "Their scans only see what we want them to see," reported Dr. Richards, head of Earth's Science Division. "They think our most advanced technology is early fusion power in basic spaceflight. The quantum masking field is working perfectly." Walker nodded. Earth had spent decades creating this elaborate deception. Their true technological achievements, quantum shielding, dark matter drives, and consciousness transfer, remained completely hidden from the Empire's supposedly advanced scanners. "How many ships in their fleet carry planet-killer weapons?" President Adams asked. "3," answered General Thompson, studying her tactical display. "All positioned within our outer defense grid, just as we predicted." The council members exchanged knowing looks. The Empire's arrogance was working in their favor. They had positioned their ships exactly where Earth's hidden defenses were strongest. "Begin evacuation protocol of surface cities," ordered President Adams. "Let's make it look good. Make them think we're scared." As the next hours unfolded, Earth appeared to panic. People rushed to shelters, governments made public announcements about staying calm, and military units moved in predictable patterns, all carefully choreographed to reinforce the Empire's belief in their superiority. Little did Lord Reed know, as he watched from his flagship with satisfaction, that Earth was about to change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The 48-hour countdown wasn't just a deadline for Earth's surrender, it was the time Earth needed to fully activate its true defenses. The game had begun, and humanity was playing to win. Agent Stone stood in the shadows of his cloaked ship, watching Earth's cities through advanced scanning equipment. As the Empire's top intelligence officer, he had assessed hundreds of planets before, but something about Earth felt different. "This doesn't make sense," he muttered, adjusting his scanners again. The readings showed primitive fusion reactors and basic space stations, yet there were gaps in the data, blank spots that his equipment couldn't penetrate. In his 30 years of service, he had never seen anything like it. On the Empire's flagship, Lord Reed reviewed Stone's preliminary reports with growing irritation. "Agent, you're telling me these primitives have areas your scanners cannot read?" "Yes, my lord," Stone replied through the secure channel. "They appear to be random dead zones. Could be natural interference, but—" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Something feels wrong." "Nonsense." Reed dismissed the concern with a wave. "Their most advanced aircraft still uses chemical propulsion. Their space stations are practically museums compared to ours. Continue your assessment, but don't waste my time with paranoid theories." Stone nodded and ended the transmission. But as he directed his ship toward Earth's dark side, he noticed something else strange. The planet's magnetic field seemed to pulse in patterns too regular to be natural. Meanwhile, in the underwater command center near the Mariana Trench, General Mary Thompson watched multiple holographic displays showing the Empire's surveillance attempts. Every scan they made was carefully filtered through Earth's quantum masking systems. "They're getting suspicious," she reported to Admiral Walker. "Their intelligence agent is more thorough than we expected." Walker studied the 3D projection of Agent Stone's ship movements. "Good. Let him see just enough to make him doubt, but keep our true capabilities hidden." Beneath the surface of every major city, massive quantum computers processed data at speeds the Empire couldn't even imagine. Earth's real technology level was centuries beyond what they showed their unwanted visitors. In his cloaked ship, Stone discovered something that made his blood run cold. He had launched a dozen microprobes toward Earth's surface, a standard procedure for planetary assessment. Only 3 returned. The others simply vanished. "My lord," he contacted Reed again, urgency in his voice. "I strongly recommend we delay any aggressive action. There are too many anomalies." Reed's face darkened with anger. "Your job is to assess their military capability, not question Imperial policy. What forces do they have?" Stone displayed his findings. Standard armies, air forces, and a small space fleet. Nothing that could challenge even one of our destroyers. "But then your job is done," Reed cut him off. "Return to the flagship. I will not let paranoid speculation delay the Empire's expansion." As Stone's ship turned to leave Earth's orbit, his sensors caught one last reading. For a fraction of a second, he detected energy levels that would power a small sun. Then it vanished as if it had never existed. In the underwater command center, Thompson allowed herself a small smile. He saw exactly what we wanted him to see, just enough to plant the seeds of doubt. Walker nodded, watching the Empire's intelligence ship retreat. And Lord Reed is too arrogant to listen to those doubts. Everything is proceeding as planned. President Adams joined them through a quantum-linked hologram that the Empire's best technology couldn't detect. All cities report ready for the next phase. Evacuation drills are complete, and our defense grid is at full power behind the masking field. "And the Empire?" Thompson asked. "Still positioning their fleet exactly where we want them," Walker replied. "They think they're intimidating us with their display of force. They have no idea they're putting their ships right in our crosshairs." As Earth's rotation brought another night to the underwater command center, humanity's hidden defenses continued their silent watch. The Empire thought they were studying Earth. In reality, Earth had studied them for decades, preparing for this moment. The next phase would begin soon, and the galaxy would learn that appearances could be very deceiving indeed. The Empire's 48-hour deadline was approaching its end. Lord Reed stood on his flagship's command deck, watching Earth's blue sphere with a mixture of boredom and contempt. These situations always ended the same way, with submission. His communication officer suddenly straightened in his chair. "My lord, Earth is requesting to address the entire fleet. They say they have made their decision." Reed smiled. "Put them on the main screen. Let's hear their surrender." The screen lit up, but instead of a humbled Admiral Walker, the entire Earth Council appeared. President Adams sat in the center, her expression calm and firm. The Empire's ambassador felt a flicker of unease at their confident postures. "Lord Reed," President Adams began, "we have indeed reached our decision. The Earth Council has voted unanimously on our response to the Empire's ultimatum." Reed nodded, already preparing his acceptance speech. But her next words froze him in place. "As of this moment, the Galactic Empire is banned from Earth space. You have 1 hour to remove all your ships from our solar system." Silence fell across the Empire's command deck. Then Reed began to laugh. "Banned? You ban us?" His laughter grew louder. "Perhaps I wasn't clear about the situation. We are the Galactic Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your primitive technology cannot." "We understood perfectly," Walker cut in. "And now you will understand us." He pressed a button on his console. Suddenly, every Empire ship's sensor lit up with warnings. A massive energy field was emerging from Earth, expanding outward like a rippling sphere of pure light. The quantum barrier, hidden for decades, finally revealed itself. "Impossible," Reed whispered, watching as the barrier passed through his fleet. His ship's most advanced sensors couldn't even begin to analyze the energy field's composition. "Your ships are now tagged," Thompson announced. "Even in hyperspace, we can track and target them. This entire solar system is now under Earth's protection. Any Imperial ship attempting to enter will be immediately detected and disabled." Reed's face turned red with rage. "You dare threaten the Empire? We will reduce your cities to ash." "No," Walker said simply. "You won't." He pressed another button. Throughout the Empire's fleet, ships began losing power. Not all systems, just enough to show what Earth could do. Weapons went offline. Shield generators flickered. Communication systems crackled with interference. "That was a small demonstration," President Adams explained. "We can shut down any Imperial technology within our space. Your weapons, your shields, your engines, all of it can be turned off with a single command." In the flagship's command center, Reed watched helplessly as his own ship's systems fluctuated. "How?" he demanded. "You're a primitive world. Our scans showed." "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Walker replied. "Earth has not been primitive for a very long time. We simply chose to keep our advancements secret until they were needed." The quantum barrier continued to expand, now encompassing the entire solar system. On every Empire ship, crews watched in amazement as their most sophisticated scanning equipment failed to penetrate or even understand the energy field. "You have 50 minutes remaining," President Adams announced. "Any ship still in Earth space after that time will be permanently disabled and towed to the system's edge." Reed's hands gripped his command chair tightly. In all his years serving the Empire, no world had ever dared to make such a declaration. No civilization had ever shown such technology, and none had ever threatened the Empire with such confidence. "This isn't over," he snarled. "You're right," Walker agreed. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy should know. Humanity will not bow to tyranny. Not now, not ever." As the transmission ended, Earth's hidden defense platforms emerged from their camouflage, each one more advanced than anything the Empire possessed. The message was clear. Earth wasn't asking for independence, it was declaring it. And the Empire had just under an hour to decide how to respond to the most unprecedented challenge to its authority in its entire history. 3 days after Earth's declaration, The Empire made its first move. 50 warships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. They were supposedly part of a routine patrol, but everyone knew their true purpose: to test Earth's defenses. Captain Tom Harrison stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender, Earth's most advanced warship. To Imperial eyes, it looked like a simple patrol vessel. In reality, it housed technology that would make the Empire's best scientists weep with envy. Enemy fleet approaching Jupiter's orbit, "Sir," reported his sensor officer. "They're moving in attack formation." Harrison smiled slightly. "Let them come. All ships maintain position. Defense platforms stay hidden until my mark." The Imperial fleet moved closer, their massive ships gleaming in the distant sunlight. Their commander, Captain Mills, transmitted on an open channel. "Earth vessels, this is a peaceful patrol mission. We mean no harm, unless provoked. This is Captain Harrison of Earth Defense Force. You are in restricted space. Reverse course immediately." Mills' laugh echoed through the communication system. "Restricted by whom?" "Your primitive ships. Your empty threats. We go where we please. Final warning." Harrison replied calmly. "Turn back now." The Imperial ships continued forward. They were now passing Mars' orbit, weapons charging, shields at maximum. They expected Earth's ships to flee. Instead, Harrison's small fleet held position, appearing helpless before the Empire's superior forces. "All defense platforms," Harrison commanded. "Execute Protocol 1." Suddenly, space itself seemed to come alive. Hundreds of objects the Empire had dismissed as debris transformed. Automated defense platforms, each smaller than a shuttle but carrying immense power, activated their quantum cores. "What's happening?" Mills demanded as his sensors went crazy. "What are those?" Before he could finish, every Imperial ship's weapon system simply shut down. Their shields flickered and died. Their engines sputtered to a halt. 50 of the Empire's most powerful warships hung helpless in space. Now Harrison ordered, "Let's show them what Earth ships can really do." The Defender's outer hull shimmered and transformed. Its simple design melted away, revealing its true form, a masterpiece of human engineering. The other Earth ships followed suit, their camouflage dropping to display their real capabilities. "Impossible," Mills whispered, watching as Harrison's ship approached. The technology he was seeing shouldn't exist, couldn't exist. Yet there it was. "Captain Mills," Harrison's voice was polite but firm. "Your ships are now under our control. We will escort you back to the system's edge. Try to resist, and we will be forced to demonstrate more of our capabilities." In the underwater command center, Admiral Walker watched the situation unfold. "Status report. All Imperial ships successfully disabled," General Thompson reported. "No casualties. Their crews are unharmed, but—" She smiled, rather shaken. "Enemy communications?" Walker asked. "They're trying to call for reinforcements," Lieutenant Smith answered. "But our quantum interference field is blocking all their signals. As far as the rest of the Empire knows, their test fleet hasn't found anything unusual." The Imperial ships, now powerless, could only watch as Earth's vessels took up escort positions around them. Harrison's ship led the way, its advanced systems giving off energy readings that the Empire's best sensors couldn't even comprehend. "You shouldn't have underestimated us," Harrison transmitted to Mills. "Earth has been preparing for this moment for generations. Every piece of debris in our system, every primitive satellite, every simple defense station, they're all part of the most advanced defense network ever created." Mills, his pride shattered along with his fleet's reputation, could only watch as his ships were guided to the solar system's edge like misbehaving children being sent home. "When you report back," Harrison added, "tell your leaders this. Earth doesn't make empty threats. Next time, we won't be so gentle." As the Imperial fleet limped away, humanity had sent its message loud and clear. The age of Empire dominance was over. A new power had emerged, one that had been hiding in plain sight all along. News spread fast across the galaxy, even when the Empire tried to hide it. Stories of Earth's defiance traveled from planet to planet, system to system. A small world had not only stood up to the Empire, but had humiliated their mighty fleet. In the Centauri system, Admiral Walker met secretly with representatives from 20 conquered worlds. They gathered in an abandoned mining station, far from Imperial sensors. "Is it true?" asked Governor Ross of Alpha Prime, his hologram flickering slightly. "Did Earth really defeat an Imperial battle fleet without firing a shot?" Walker nodded. "We did more than defeat them. We showed the galaxy that the Empire isn't invincible. Their technology isn't supreme. Their power isn't absolute." The room erupted in excited whispers. For decades, these worlds had suffered under Imperial rule. Now, for the first time, they saw hope. "But how?" another representative asked. "The Empire's ships are the most powerful in the galaxy." Walker smiled and activated a small device on the table. A hologram appeared, showing Earth's quantum barrier technology. "Because we spent generations preparing. While the Empire conquered through force, Earth advanced through innovation. And now we're ready to share our developments with those who want freedom." On the Empire's capital world, Lord Reed faced the Imperial Council. His voice shook with rage as he delivered his report. "Earth's defiance is spreading like a disease. 3 systems have already declared independence. 5 more are showing signs of rebellion. They're calling it the Earth Protocol, using our own technology against us." The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For the first time in centuries, they faced a real threat to their power. Back on Earth, General Thompson monitored the growing rebellion through their quantum communication network. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Imperial ships found their weapons mysteriously disabled. Defense systems suddenly failed. Communication networks went dark. "The Empire is losing control," she reported to President Adams. "Our allies are using the technology we provided exactly as planned. Simple devices, easy to hide, impossible for the Empire to detect." Adams watched the tactical display as another system declared its independence. And the Empire's response. "Exactly what we expected," Thompson replied. "They're splitting their forces, trying to maintain control everywhere at once. But their ships are useless against our quantum disruptors. The more they fight, the weaker they become." In the Orion sector, Captain Harrison's fleet helped another world break free. The Earth Defense Force had grown, with ships now carrying the flags of multiple free worlds. Each victory brought more allies, more resources, more worlds ready to stand against tyranny. "This isn't just about Earth anymore," Harrison told his crew as they watched another Imperial garrison surrender. "This is about every species that ever suffered under their rule. Every world that lost its freedom, every culture they tried to crush. On 1,000 worlds, people watched their Imperial overlords struggle against an enemy they couldn't fight. Earth's technology spread like wildfire. Simple devices that could shut down Imperial ships, disrupt their communications, and render their weapons useless. The Empire tried to respond with brute force, but their mighty fleets found themselves powerless. Their advanced weapons meant nothing when they couldn't function. Their superior numbers were worthless when their ships wouldn't move. The tide is turning," Walker told the growing alliance of free worlds. "The Empire built their power on fear and force. We built ours on innovation and preparation. And now, the galaxy will see which approach was better." As the rebellion spread, Earth established the Free Systems Alliance. What started as one world's defiance became a galaxy-wide movement for freedom. The Empire's grip on power weakened with each passing day. But everyone knew the Empire wouldn't fall without a fight. Their entire fleet was gathering, preparing for one final, massive assault. The real test of Earth's power was about to begin. The Empire had finally had enough. 10,000 warships, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. This was no patrol, No test. This was the Empire throwing everything they had at the world that dared to defy them. Admiral Walker stood in Earth's orbital command station, watching the massive armada approach. The Empire's ships filled space like a swarm of angry wasps, their weapons charged and shields at maximum power. They brought their entire fleet, General Thompson noted, her voice calm despite the overwhelming numbers they faced. Just as we predicted. Walker nodded. Send the signal to all Free Systems Alliance worlds. Operation Checkmate begins now. On the Empire's flagship, Lord Reed watched with satisfaction as his fleet moved into attack position. No more games, he announced to all ships. Today we crush this rebellion at its source. Earth will burn for its defiance. The Imperial fleet advanced in perfect formation. Their front line alone had enough firepower to reduce a planet's surface to molten slag. But as they passed the orbit of Mars, something strange happened. First, their long-range scanners went dark. Then their shields started flickering. Then their engines began to sputter. What's happening? Reed demanded, watching as ship after ship reported system failures. My lord, his technology officer shouted in panic. Something is accessing our core systems. Every encryption we have is being broken in seconds. We're losing control of everything. Walker's voice came through on all Imperial channels. Did you really think we spent all these years just developing defensive technology? Everything you use, every ship, every weapon, every piece of Imperial technology. We studied it all. And we learned how to turn it off. Throughout the Imperial fleet, ships began to drift powerless in space. Weapons went silent. Engines died. Even life support systems shifted to minimal power. The mightiest armada ever assembled had become nothing more than metal boxes floating in space. Impossible. Reed screamed. No one could do this. No technology could. Look around you. Walker interrupted. Your entire fleet, defeated without a single shot fired. This is the power you could never understand. While you focused on building bigger weapons, we focused on mastering the fundamentals of technology itself. Earth's defense platforms activated, surrounding the powerless Imperial fleet. From the outer regions of the solar system, ships from the Free Systems Alliance emerged. Hundreds of them, all equipped with Earth's advanced technology. You have a choice, President Adams announced to the Imperial fleet. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated with respect. Resist, and we'll be forced to tow your ships to the nearest uninhabited system and leave you there. In the orbital command center, Thompson monitored the situation. All Imperial ships are completely disabled. Their crews are unharmed but helpless. The quantum disruption field worked perfectly. Walker looked at the tactical display, where 10,000 dots representing Imperial ships floated harmlessly in space. Send in the boarding teams. Prepare to evacuate their crews. On the Empire's flagship, Reed watched in disbelief as Earth's ships approached. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire, had been defeated without firing a single shot. No explosions, no dramatic space battles, no heroic last stands. Just the quiet hum of failing systems and the darkness of powerless ships. You never understood what made humanity different, Walker transmitted to the Imperial fleet. We don't seek power through destruction. We advance through innovation. We don't conquer, we protect. And now, the galaxy will learn a new way of doing things. As Earth's ships began the process of securing the Imperial fleet, news spread across the galaxy. The Empire's greatest fleet had been neutralized in minutes. Their technology, once thought supreme, had been turned against them by the very world they had tried to subjugate. The age of the Empire was ending, not with a bang, but with the quiet shutdown of 10,000 ships. Earth's victory was total, bloodless, and absolutely undeniable. 1 year after the great defeat of the Imperial fleet, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The massive chamber of the new Galactic Council on Earth buzzed with activity as representatives from hundreds of free worlds gathered to shape the future. Admiral Walker, now Supreme Commander of the Free Systems Alliance, stood at the podium addressing the assembled delegates. The chamber itself was a testament to Earth's philosophy, built not to intimidate, but to unite. Today marks the first anniversary of what history will remember as the Silent Victory. Walker began when 10,000 Imperial ships were stopped not by violence, but by innovation, not through destruction, but through understanding. In the audience, former Imperial worlds sat alongside planets that had never been conquered. Species that had once been enemies under Imperial rule now worked together, sharing technology and resources freely. The Empire ruled through fear. Walker continued, "We choose to lead through cooperation. Every world in this alliance remains free to govern itself. Our role is not to control, but to protect and support." At the back of the chamber, a familiar figure sat watching. Lord Reed, the former Imperial ambassador, now a refugee seeking asylum on Earth. His once proud uniform had been replaced by simple Earth clothing. His expression showed not anger, but wonder. After the session, Reed approached Walker in the council gardens. "I still don't understand," he admitted. "You had this power all along. You could have conquered the galaxy. Why choose this path instead?" Walker smiled. "Because true strength isn't about conquering others. It's about lifting them up. Earth learned that lesson from our own history, long before we reached the stars. Across the galaxy, the changes were visible everywhere. Imperial technology, once used to oppress, had been modified with Earth's innovations to help and heal. Former warships now served as exploration vessels and rescue craft. Defense platforms protected trade routes instead of enforcing submission. In Earth's quantum laboratories, scientists from 100 worlds worked together, sharing knowledge freely. The Empire's best minds, now freed from military focus, made breakthroughs they never thought possible. "The latest reports are in," General Thompson told President Adams during their daily briefing. "The last Imperial holdout worlds have requested to join the Alliance. The transformation is complete." Adams nodded, looking at the holographic display showing the reformed galaxy. Green dots represented free worlds, each governing itself but connected through Earth's quantum network. "And the technology sharing program, exceeding expectations," Thompson replied. "Every world is advancing at their own pace, but with guidance when needed. No one gets left behind." In orbit above Earth, Captain Harrison's ship, the Defender, prepared for another exploration mission. But unlike the warships of the past, his vessel carried scientists and diplomats alongside its crew. Its mission was to seek out new civilizations, not to conquer them, but to offer them friendship and knowledge. "The galaxy's a different place now," Harrison told his crew during their departure briefing. "We're not here to show our power. We're here to show there's a better way to live among the stars." Back in the council chamber, Walker concluded his address to thunderous applause. Earth's greatest victory wasn't defeating the Empire. It was showing the galaxy that true power comes from working together. That advancement comes not from dominating others, but from helping them rise. As the session ended, Reed found himself walking through Earth's streets, watching beings from across the galaxy living and working together peacefully. Children from a dozen worlds played in parks under skies protected by technology that had once been used for war. "Now I understand," he whispered to himself. Earth didn't just ban the Empire from their space. They made the very idea of empire obsolete. The sun set on another day in the new galaxy, its light touching free worlds that would never again know Imperial rule. Earth had done more than win a war. It had changed the very nature of power among the stars. And in doing so, it had given the galaxy something it had never had before, a future built on hope instead of fear.